Now, the other day I uploaded the video for a league race of WOR in Bahrain, link up in the top right. And that video went down really well, the response was really good. So I thought, why not give you guys another one? And today we're here for the most recent race, which took place at Mexico. And there's been a hiatus with league racing recently, but we're back tonight. I'll be streaming tonight on my Twitch. WR Portugal, I believe, this weekend, and I'll be streaming tonight. So yeah, do tune in, link down below. But yeah, here we are then at the Mexican Grand Prix. Looking at the standings really quickly, you can see that we scored a couple of points in Bahrain, even after the absolutely crazy, massive crash that we caused at turn 1. So yeah, we're chilling mid-table, trying to do what I can, in a league that obviously is very tough. And yeah, we've still got quite a few races to go actually. We've only technically just about reached the halfway stage, so the season could still end quite well for us, and that's kind of what I'm aiming to do and hoping to achieve. This was, I think this race took place about 3 weeks ago, so or 2 weeks ago maybe even. But yeah, this race was quite a while ago now. And yeah, for this one you may notice we're not in the Mercedes, we are in the McLaren. The reason for that is because in this race, Jarno Opmeer and also Jake Benham are both racing in the Mercedes. So obviously Jarno pretty much has taken my seat due to contract, of course, obligations with him having to drive for Mercedes. So I've moved to McLaren for a one-off race, and yeah, we're pretty much can't not do that. And yeah, we're just gonna pretty much see it out for this race. Not really an issue for me, to be honest, in terms of what car I drive. But yeah, we're gonna now start our final lap in Q1. So you just saw me make a mistake as we invalidated at turn 3, and this track is very tough, in terms of track limits. We're gonna try and see if we can get through though on this lap with 2 minutes to go. Down to turn 1. Important here to maximize curb usage without invalidating. We do a pretty good job on this lap of hitting those curbs pretty nicely. A little bit safe, to make sure we get a lap time on the board. So we're down in the first sector on our delta, but still at least the lap is valid. Now we can start to push and hopefully find some lap time. Into sector 2, we tackle the left-right chicane, which feeds into this double apex right hairpin. Okay, now back on the power as we now go into the S section here, and we're going to absolutely nail that first left-hander in terms of track limits, right on the borderline edge, and through here as well. Pretty decent run, to be fair. And across the second sector split, we set a 55.1, which is pretty good for a Q1, to be honest. That is a very strong first split in the sector 2. So yeah, now into sector 3 though, we missed the apex at the hairpin, and then we get out of shape as well a little bit through the kind of slow section there, and just having a bit of a messy sector 3. But up to the line we go, and it's going to be a 13.9. I'm not really happy with that, but that's all I've got, so we'll see. And in hindsight, it was actually not too bad. We got through into Q2 quite comfortably, and the gap, are close across the entire field. I mean, look how close the entire grid is. One poor lap, one mistake makes a big difference. And yeah, we're in the top 10. Happy to see that. Jarno Opmeer decided to not qualify, and he's going to start the race on P19. So he'll be behind us for the race start. Both McLarens, though, myself and Tomek are through. And yeah, we're now going to jump into Q2. So I've already done a medium run attempt just to kind of get a delta reference and something to aim for. And on this first lap, I think we were trying to set a decent banker. I dare I say, I think this was a used set of soft tyres, if I'm not mistaken, and we set a high 2 in the middle sector, which is not that great. But then through here, we have quite a bit of a moment through that entire section, and they have a very messy sector 3. So up to the line, not great. 14.6, 7/10 off. That wasn't a bad lap, to be fair, until that mistake. And it wasn't a bad lap, to be fair, up until the second sector. Considering it was a used set of tyres, it was pretty decent. But we're now going to move on to my last attempt in qualifying. So we have a 13.9 in Q1 to aim for. One lap. Let's do it. We're going to see if we can improve on that here in Q2. So down towards turn 1, you're going to brake at the 50, I believe, and you want to enter first in, I'd say, 4th gear, the first corner, and then go down to 3rd to get some rotation. Brake at the 50, there you go, down to 3rd, and then try to open up turn 2 as much as possible to really get the drive out of turn 3, and we absolutely hook up those 3 corners beautifully. And we're going to get a slight slipstream from Jake Benham. Sector 1 split, not too shabby, with a 0.1 into now sector 2, left-right combo, trying to carry the mid-corner speed or the average speed through here as we do a good job through the hairpin there, and we're now over a tenth up. Into the S as we go, full commitment through here as we have a bit of a correction though through the first one, which just costs me a little bit of momentum and sets me offline a little bit through there as well, through the right-hander, just losing a little bit of the balance of the car, somehow still in track limits, but it's a 55.2 and it's not a good middle sector, even though it's purple, it's quite slow. Into the final sector now though, we run it a bit wide with the lock-up into the hairpin, and it's just been a bit of a scruffy lap overall as we make our way through the final corner. That's not a good lap. Not a good lap. And unfortunately, it just wasn't that great. It was a 13.9, which is what we've done in Q1, but the middle sector let us down. I think we dropped about a tenth and a half, 2 tenths in that middle sector. I think P11 was quite easily achievable, to be fair. It wasn't really that much of a, of an effort. I think around here, tyre choice, alternate strategy could be a good option. For us though, it's P13 in qualifying, and we'll take that. It's better than our recent qualifyings. The pace was there for Q3. Had I cleaned up the lap a little bit, I think there was a few moments where I didn't quite commit enough, especially in the low speeds, stuff, and also the middle sector. I think dare I say up to 2 tenths I may have lost in the S section. So yeah, qualifying done, P13. We're now going to move to the race and see if we can get some points from a pretty decent grid position for the all strat. Now, before we jump into the race, we're going to run through the strategy. Now, for this one, we're going to start on the medium tyre, then go to softs. The idea is to do the reverse one stop, so medium soft tyre. Even though I've got 2 soft stints, that's just because of the strategy screen, which won't let me extend the stints any longer. Another option is the hard tyre, but if you get damage in turn 1, you're then going to be forced onto a 2-stop, as you don't have another hard tyre to go on because you're not allowed due to regulations. So I think this is the best option for us. Starting on softs isn't something I really want to do, so yeah, we're gonna go for the medium and see what happens as we get ready for the 5 lights. Look like we're going to enjoy this one, and we are underway at Mexico. Off the line, it's not a great start, but it's not terrible. However, Lewis Welch and Primoz Michalčić get great starts, to their credit, and we're 3 wide here, heading down towards turn 1. I have to just yield there as we need to pick a line in this very tricky tight section. Turn 1, 2, 3. We tried to go back around the outside there, but the gap was closing, and Patrick Sipos also gets through around the outside. We're going to try and drag race him though down towards turn 4 as we pick the outside line, under braking, trying to carry some momentum as Primoz and Lewis Welch have contact, so we gain back a place side by side still with Patrick Sipos as we head into the hairpin. We're going to try and get the inside line here, but Patrick hanging in there, and now we're on the outside, which isn't where you want to be into here, and we just have to kind of yield and let off for now as we head into the S section, and you can see everyone around us on the mediums at this stage of the race. So yeah, we'll take that. Not the best start, we've lost 2 places, but a bit of a shame really. Sometimes it's a bit, it's down to luck. The line you choose into the first corner can always dictate what's going to happen, and we chose the wrong one. Maybe I could have tried to get myself on the outside, but I was boxed in a 3 wide scenario. So yeah, end of lap 1. We're still alive, we've still got a front wing, but we've lost 2 places. On to lap 3 now though, DRS enabled, and we get our first warning, a very, very close millimetrical warning for track limits as we try to run with the train here. And at the minute, the DRS train, I believe, is intact, which is great, so this will help our strategy quite nicely as we make our way into the stadium section. Struggling for grip a little bit. The medium was quite hard to get into the window, and with that ideal grip, and you see me running wide through the hairpin. So yeah, just having a bit of a moment and a bit of a scruffy end to the lap, which is going to put us under pressure from Ike Baena in the Haas. So yeah, this could kick off as we race down towards turn 1. I've got my battery on, trying to keep a gap, and Baena isn't going to commit, so that's great. So we can take turn 1 like normal. Up ahead you can see there's a bit of battle as well, as the DRS train has now broken up with the Leeds Ferrari on the all strat, I believe, not able to keep up with the soft runner pace. And now Baena is going to go for it here, so we have to go into defensive mode. We're going to go for the outside as there's more space and I can prolong the braking zone as much as I like. Inside through here we lock on a little bit left rear to right front, and we drag ourselves out a bit wide, but we get the inside through the hairpin and stay ahead with some nice defensive driving. Now we need to try and get back within a second of Patrick and not lose DRS. And to be fair, I did a pretty good job here of hooking up the S section. So yeah, on to lap 7 now, and we're still in the train. Lewis Welch has a 3-second time penalty, as you see our tyre wear in the bottom right. In the meantime, though, we are going to collect our second track.
And a penalty, 100%. There's no way I'm keeping it clean for another 29 laps.
And we're going to collect our second track limit warning. So yeah, a bit of a challenge how to keep that one clean. But in the meantime, the guys on softs have completely gone. I mean, the soft runners were running at a super strong pace. You can see on the minimap the gap that has formed. In the meantime, there's been some battling, and now we've got a chance here at Patrick Sipos, but I don't really want to lose any more time as we've already lost so much time battling up ahead. And you can see the gap to the top 10 is quite big. You know, that's a large gap that you have to try and pull back on the all-strat, which isn't always guaranteed. So already these guys battling has cost us a little bit, as Patrick now has a 3-second time penalty as well. So Penn's starting to flood in here. We've got Jeffrey Ricci as well up ahead. As yeah, we're just kind of all running in a train. Not much we can really do at this stage. Will Lewis in there as well in the Ferrari as we go on to lap number 10. Now then, I believe, if I'm not mistaken,
copy that,
we're going to have Bahrain here go for a move. I wasn't really looking, to be fair. He caught me unawares. I was looking at the deltas and my tyre temperatures, and he just caught me out here. So again, we're batting as Lewis Welch runs in hot into turn 1. We use that to our advantage, but then we get squeezed.
If you continue to cut corners, the stewards will give you a penalty.
Oh my god.
And as that happens, we're 4 wide, and I just had to back out there. I did not want to go 4 wide into there. Someone has to back out, and you could say I'm not being aggressive enough, but I didn't really want to be involved. And now Yano as well is going to go through here on the hard tires. Everyone is just lunging up the inside, and this is what happens with league racing. If one person overtakes and one person gets by, they all try to shove and push through, which is really frustrating in these races.
That last warning I can get removed, so I don't technically have a penalty yet. So
and you can hear me say,
let's just see what happens.
As we lose Will Lewis from the race, I can get that third warning removed from the Lewis Watch incident because he did push me off.
Look at how stupid the battling is.
But yeah, you can hear me say how stupid the battling is, and they're still going at it as we've got a yellow flag for Lewis retiring. And yeah, it's all getting a bit ugly. Look at the gap to the leaders, by the way. Look at the minimap, how huge of a gap in just 11 laps there is. And now,
drop your speed, our delta is too low and we risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
we get a virtual safety car. And at this stage, we're going to box. We're going to go ahead. Jarno stays out on the hard tyre. He's the only one, I believe, on that tyre along with Sam Corby. I'll go hard, okay. And go for the hard tyre, but the VSC is ending already.
Oh no, mine, I've got medium. Oh what?
Go now.
Didn't really gain much from that VSC, to be fair. A bit at the back, just do our own race. We'll go soft at the end.
So yeah, the VSC is long gone,
Okay,
and
clear of the white line on the exit.
I will say this was the crucial moment of the race. Between all the All-Strat guys battling way too hard and losing too much time, and the gap being way too big to the top 10, we had that compounded, that misery compounded by the VSC timing when it ended. So we've lost about 35-40 seconds. You know, the gap to the leaders was about 10-12 seconds, and then you add on like a 20-25 second pit stop on top of that. The gap was huge, and at this point I was just trying to do my own race, do my thing on the medium. The pace wasn't too bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't too bad. I was actually better than I have been in recent races in terms of outright pace. But the fact that I'm not in a DRS train is a constant time loss as well. With 3 DRS zones around here, and yeah, basically out of sync on strategy, making it quite hard for me to really keep up with the pace at any point during this race.
My race pace is poor, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit slow.
You hear me say they're getting frustrated as I get a bit angry with my race pace as we head into the final sector here.
Oh shit.
Check your MFD for
We
a
hit
new
the
strategy
wall,
option.
lap 20, wing damage. But to be fair, we got lucky as I had to pit anyway again, so it's not going to be that much of a time loss anyway.
This is awkward. Bit too far to go on soft. Oh well, might as well try it.
And yeah, it's a little bit earlier than we would have liked. I wanted to pit around lap 22, but all we're going to lose really is about, I'd say, a second from the crash and about another, 3-4 seconds for the extra long pit stop. So,
Go.
yeah, overall about 5-6 seconds, which isn't too bad. And we got quite lucky, to be fair, with that incident overall, I'd say.
I should have just gone for the hard and gone to the end.
And you can hear me say that I should have gone my gut feeling, put the hard tire and gone to the end in that original pit stop. But then again, the grip on the medium wasn't great either. Either way, back on the way and in last place, and we're going to go to the end and just hope that basically we get a safety car. That's all we can really hope for between the battling in the first stint, losing about 12 seconds, and then, you know, the VSC pit stop, we was out of the race anyway, and then the crash just added on another 6 seconds or so to our delay. So, just unfortunate, really. You know, my mistake, but that wasn't really the big time loss as we get another warning in this race.
The grip on these tyres. That's my penalty locked in.
And you hear me say that's my penalty locked in, so that is, that's my 4th warning in the race, but it's my, you know, technically 3rd warning if you take away the Lewis Welch incident. As we set a purple lap, you know, running a decent pace, setting decent pace on the soft tyres. And there was a lot of penalties up ahead. You know, a lot of drivers had penalties, and had we been with a pack, we could have maybe benefited. But even then, looking at the mini-map, you can see the leaders. The guys in the top 10 have such a big lead over those on the all-strats. We get another warning through the stadium section. Lewis Welch has just rejoined from the pits. So again, we didn't lose that much considering he was ahead of us. And I just spent the rest of the race chipping away as we've got Ruben Pedreño behind us now on the softs as well.
I didn't even think that was off. So I'm technically on 3 seconds, not 6. I can still get that 1 warning removed.
And like I said before, now we've technically got 1 warning less, so we're technically on 5 warnings, which is 3 seconds. But yeah, Pedreño now is going to pass. He's on much fresher soft tyres. Mine are pretty old at this stage, and we can't do much about it.
I will retire on lap 33 once there isn't a safety car.
You hear me say, I'd never do it. It's not something I ever do, retiring. But in this race, there's no point. If there's not a safety car, we may as well just call it in and call it a day. We've got Patrick Sipos ahead, who's just rejoined from a pit stop. Nicolas Longue as well, also losing out because of the VSC, I believe, and the strategy. But yeah, lap 32, nothing happened. No safety car arrived. So we're going to call it a day and unfortunately retire. Listen, qualifying went well. We got a bit unlucky with the race start in terms of I chose a line and it wasn't the one to go for. That's just luck of the draw. And besides my crash, which cost me about 6 seconds, the rest of it out of my hands, really. You know, the virtual safety car being the big time loss. We lost about 20 seconds there. Basically, we took an extra pit stop for no reason. You can see we've done 3 stops in that race. So, yeah, frustrating, but it is what it is. We live and learn, and hopefully we get a bit of luck next time. And the next VSC situation, I'll try and maybe consider my strategy a bit better, because had we stayed out and then just done like a regular 1 stop onto the hard tyre, it may have been a better option. So, yeah, you live and learn, or even a 1 stop medium soft, that would have been another option, which we could have just stuck to the original strategy, to be fair. But yeah, that's it for the standings. You can see here we're still mid-table, no points scored, so nothing's going to really change. And yeah, we're going to the next one, so hopefully we can try and turn that one around and keep pushing on. You may notice that Tomek Perezic in P3 is now my teammate. That's going to be the way it goes now from now on for the rest of the season. So a bit of a reshuffle as Jake Benham drops to reserve and Jana only turns up when he feels like racing. So yeah, guys, that's it. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more, and I'll be streaming tonight the race at Portimao, so tune in. As always, a massive thank you to the channel members for supporting the content, and finally check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already. But that's it from me here today, and I'll see all of you in the next one.